The 2D channels at AFHRA were used for fixing fighters, steering them to desired destinations, steering them around danger areas, assisting them in making rendezvous or interception, giving weather information, and taking care of any Mayday distress calls over land. The reason for both a red D and a blue D was simply that 15 groups could not all be given good fixing service on a single frequency, and the traffic had to be split into when all control was concentrated at AFHRA on February 1st, 1945. To assist each D controller, there were normally 2 enlisted men, one to record fixes, bearings, steers, and mileage, the other 2 plot fixes and calculate direction and distance with the Craig computer. The best way to illustrate the operational use of D channel is to quote the following substance of a controller's lecture to new pilots. First, push your D channel button and listen to make sure it's not busy. Your first goal should be short, e.g., "Hello, Colgate, this is Jello 39, over." This will be acknowledged by Colgate, and you will be told to transmit for a fix to pip-in or to standby, depending on how busy the controller may be. When transmitting for a fix, give your call sign, altitude, and present course, then repeat your call sign about 5 times. Repeating your call sign, instead of counting, eliminates the possibility of mixing your transmissions with those of other aircraft who may be cutting in. The altitude enabled us to estimate by the strength of your transmission how far away you are in the event we are able to get only a 1-string bearing. It also enables us to allow for the proper winds at your height. Your present vector is particularly important when you are close to your objective, because in such circumstances, even the direction of turn to port or starboard may make quite a difference. The PIP automatic contactor is used in the same manner, except that instead of repeating your call sign, you pip in. Be sure to give your call sign both before and after the PIP, because D/F stations cannot hear the controller and have no other way of knowing what aircraft is transmitting the PIP. Never pip in except when requested to do so. A PIP can be fixed much better and at longer range than a voice transmission, and may drown out some other pilot's call. Be sure you know where the PIP switch is. After transmitting, you will be given by the controller a steer which takes care of magnetic variation and winds, and also the mileage you have to go. When the weather is bad, you will be advised whether it is best to come back on top or on the deck. Should you find that our weather information is not correct, let us know right away so that we can take care of the others returning. It takes from 10 to 15 seconds to receive. Triangulate, pass the fix to the control table, and figure your proper course. Often this will seem to you infinitely longer, particularly if you think you are lost. Sometimes only a 1-string bearing can be obtained due to geographical location, low altitude, long range, or bad transmission. A broad steer is given from this. After dead reckoning you along this bearing, you are given this broad steer and told to call back in so many minutes. Be sure to do so. Fixes are divided into first, second, and third classes. A first-class fix is usually accurate to within a mile as far away as the nearer continental shores. Second and third-class fixes have larger errors with increase with distance from the UK. They are all right for steers to England, but not for reliable for vectoring to continental basis. When the channel is very busy, it is necessary to have rigid R/T discipline. Ingenious use of the D channel has saved many an aircraft that might otherwise have been lost. Once in a while, something would happen to a pilot's radio so that he could transmit a signal or a PIP, but not voice. If you could receive it all, the alert D controller could still get him home by giving him instructions and having him acknowledged with a signal. On operational missions, early returns, and aborting aircraft usually homed in using D channel fixes so as not to interfere on the operational channel. The channel was also sometimes used by groups as a navigational aid on bad weather missions, the leader asking for a fix at the approximate crossing out point to check his course and timing. The very extensive use of D channel in 8th Air Force fighters has been a surprise to visitors from other theaters less blessed with communication facilities. Some of these have questioned the need for such a service. But none of these skeptics had ever to sweat out a day of sudden bad weather, with 3,000 airplanes airborne simultaneously, all trying to get home, many lost and wandering, bases closing in, ceilings lowering. A third of those aircraft being fighters, low on gas, dependent on their wits and control to get them home. On days like those, a skeptic could be convinced in a couple of minutes just standing and watching and listening while the controllers worked feverishly to keep up. There were times when even 5 groups on a D channel would paralyze it for minutes at a stretch, all trying to call at once. No, you couldn't talk the 8th out of D, or B, or C, or A without a battle. They were all vital to the coordination machine that was Colgate.